Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGeek webinar series, our endeavor to power techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is tips and tricks for effectively deploying IBM Cognos Workspace, formerly known as IBM Cognos Insight. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Ganesh Sopan Kedari, System Scientist at IBM. Ganesh Kedari is working as System Scientist at IBM India Software Labs. He is Business Analytic Evangelist with extensive experience in business intelligence and software quality management. Ganesh has done MS in Scientific Computing from University of Pune and working with IBM for last 4 years. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Kedari.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining this session. So today's session is on tips and tricks for effectively deploying IBM Cognos Workspace in your organization. IBM Cognos Workspace, which is previously known as IBM Cognos Business Insight with Cognos 10 and Cognos 10.1 series, now has been renamed to IBM Cognos Workspace. So in today's session, we will briefly take a look at what are the new features which get added with IBM Cognos 10.2, as well as we can see some of the best practices which we can use to effectively create our dashboards, as well as how we can effectively deploy them to get a better performance. What can be the good designing practices that you can use in your organizations. So let's start with the introduction to IBM Cognos. So I hope most of us are aware about what IBM Cognos is. So for whoever who is new to IBM Cognos, so IBM Cognos family is a set of like-minded products which basically empowers organizations to give the capability to each and every user in the organization. So they give the capabilities like planning, modeling, analyzing, reporting, and collaborating among each other. So these are the different capabilities given by various IBM Cognos products to each and every user in the organization. So it primarily consists of three major products. So first is IBM Cognos Insight, which is a desktop-based business intelligence tool for the personal analysis. So this tool basically allows users to create the personalized insight based on the data that they have. They can bring in their data, like they can bring in their CSV, they can bring in their Excel. That kind of data they can convert into different type of visualization. They can collaborate with each other using sharing the visualization. It allows users to create, it allows users to do the data discovery, as well as it allows users to do the what if analysis based on the data that they have. So this is more on a desktop-based intelligence. For the organization who want to go for a work group-based analysis, like typically like mid-market organization, mid-size organization, who has a small number of users who want to empower them with the business intelligence, IBM Cognos Express gives those organizations the capabilities like reporting, dashboarding, as well as planning and budgeting based on IBM Cognos TM1. So IBM Cognos, using IBM Cognos Express, they can create their reports dashboard, and they can share that not just on the web, as well as they can give the access on the mobiles. So a small organization can start with Cognos Express. And the last but not least, IBM Cognos Enterprise, which is the flagship product of IBM Cognos family, which allows each and every user in the organization to access the business intelligence capability given by the product. So all these products, all these three products are basically give insight to action approach for organizations. So they can get the insight from available data, they can assign with the individuals, and then they can take the proper actions for the particular business requirement. As well as these products are right size for organizations. So if you want to start a small, like if you want to start from a personal web intelligence or personal desktop-based intelligence, you can start with Cognos Insight, then you can gradually move to Cognos Express for a work group-based analysis. And finally, for enterprise level requirements, you can always go to the Cognos Enterprise. So as I mentioned, Cognos Enterprise is a flagship product of the Cognos family, which basically along with consists of IBM Cognos BI 10.2, IBM Cognos TM1, which is in-memory OLAP engine, and IBM Cognos Insight, which is a, as I say, desktop-based web intelligence, personal intelligence tool. It basically arms each and every user in the organization with the capabilities like they can connect with each and every user, they can collaborate, they can create the insights based on the data which is available for the analysis. Then this IBM Cognos Enterprise also allows users to work on the platform they want to work on. So organization need not to bother about delivery of the content. So users can work from the web, they can work from their desktop, they can work from their mobile or iPad. They can access the content right from their business intelligence application to their own platform. So they can get the information on the iPad, or a particular user can get the information into their Microsoft Office application, like they can get an Excel sheet, they can get a PowerPoint presentation based on a single data which is hosted in BI solution. As well as it gives a platform for the IT management teams to centrally manage all the requirements of organization. So when we are delivering content on multiple platforms like web or mobile or desktop, it again basically internally it has a single platform which can be used for managing all the requirements. So this is about IBM Cognos Enterprise. Moving to today's main topic, IBM Cognos Workspace. So IBM Cognos Workspace is an interface which gives users a historic view, a present view, as well as a futuristic view to get the decision faster and make the more proactive decisions by analyzing all the data. So when I say we can bring data from the all time horizons, basically we can bring in the historical data, traditional business intelligence capability. We can bring in the existing reports or analysis which are done over the historical data to the Cognos Workspace interface. As well as we can bring in the current data, what's happening in my organization currently. I can bring in the real-time data using products like real-time monitoring, which get incorporated with the Cognos Workspace. So we can bring in the real-time data onto the same workspace, as well as we can bring in the futuristic data, like we can bring in our budgets, we can bring in our plan, or we can bring in predictive analytics data, like which is created using products like IBM Workspaces. So those data, that data can be also brought to the workspace. So we have our historic data, present data, and futuristic data on a single screen, which helps users to take the decisions more effectively. So Cognos Workspace comes as a pre-assembled workspace, like any other dashboarding capability that has. So it's again it gives a dashboard to a user which is pre-assembled. As well as it allows users to create a search-assisted authoring. So if a user want to get an insight or want to create a report out of it, instead of creating a new report for the dashboard, he can basically search from the whatever available, so that he can avoid the time required for recreating the same content again. So he can search from the whatever content which is already available in Cognos repository. They can select the report that they want to bring into their dashboard. With simply drag and drop assembly, they can bring that report or a part of that report to the dashboard. As well as when the data is brought from the Cognos repository to their dashboard, users can dynamically interact with that data. They can add dynamic features. They can bring more insight onto the same page without going back to the report specification and reauthoring the report. So an end user can simply bring in the data to their interface, and then they can modify their data as per the requirement. They can filter that. They can decide what type of customization they want to do, what type of calculation they want to add on the existing content, what type of visualization that they would like to see. So a single screen which basically empowers users all data, as well as they can customize that data as per their requirement. They can publish that insight to a wide range of users who has access to the particular data set. As well as they can use a personalized view of the information rather than asking their IT to go back and redesign their existing report or recreating the dashboard for a different requirement. So it basically gives a unified workspace with a greater power, intuitive navigation, and a cleaner look. So everything works on a single workspace, so user need not to switch between multiple studios, need not to switch between multiple reports to see data in a single page. So let's see what are the new features which get added with the Cognos 10.2. So as I mentioned earlier, Cognos 10 Workspace was earlier known as IBM Cognos Business Insight, which was renamed in 10.2. In 10.2, we added some more features like tabbed workspace, where user can create a workspace with multiple tabs. Users can create a contextual tab. We have a global area where users can add global filters or action buttons, which will get applied to all the tabs which are available in the particular workspace, as well as we have support for chart recommendations, as well as freezing columns and row headings. So user can freeze the rows and columns of a particular cross tab or a particular list, as well as they can expand and collapse more information in cross tab. As well as there are new capabilities added as a graduated capabilities, which basically allows users to create roles for accessing the Cognos Workspace. So user can restrict which user can access which capability of Cognos Workspace. As well as there are significant performance improvement over previous releases. So let's see in detail what are the new capabilities are with the Cognos Workspace. So the first one is the multi-tab and global area capability. So this will allow users to create tabs into their existing workspace. So if you are aware with about Cognos Business Insight, so Business Insight has a single canvas as a dashboard. You are not able to create multiple tabs into it. You need to create separate pages for the multiple tabs. But here you can create your dashboards using multiple tabs. You can divide your content onto contextual tabs. As well as using the global area, you can put global filters, action buttons, as well as report prompts onto the global area, which get applied to the all tabs which are available in the dashboard. So basically, for example, if you want to filter all the tabs based on the year, or if you want to filter all the tabs in a particular insight, particular dashboard based on the region or department, those filters can add it into global area. And using action buttons, we can set the navigation for multiple tabs. So these action buttons will be used for the navigation purpose. So combinedly, it will give a feel of a complete solution for a particular, for example, a particular user or a particular department, using multiple tabs based on the single workspace. As I mentioned, action buttons can be used for adding the navigation into various tabs. So you can assign action buttons for creating a menu for a tab navigation. You can create action button for previous tab or a next tab, as well as we can add an action button for based on the tab name, as well as we can add capabilities like go back to the home page, home tab, when we have a number of tabs onto a single workspace. So action buttons can be used for creating the tabs, and the interface for action button is again very simple. You just need to drag that action button into the workspace wherever you want to place it, and it will ask you for predefined actions. So you can choose which tab you want to go for, and then you can customize the action button as per requirement. You can put the custom label, you can put the custom image to that action button, so that you will give a consistent navigation feed on your single workspace. Then the few more capabilities on the workspace are for the tabbing purpose are from the contextual menu. You can create new tabs, you can rename new tab, as you can see in the slide, where we have option for creating new tab, renaming that tab, or removing or ordering that tab. As well as we can add the content. Similarly, as I say, we can drag our value filter or a slider filters, not just on the canvas, but into the global area, so that will get applied to each and every tab which is available in the particular workspace. And some of the more feature on the visualization side. So in case of a list or in case of a cross tab, Cognos Workspace now allow users to freeze the content. So whenever we have a large list or a large cross tab which get spanned, where we need to navigate using the scroll bar, we can actually freeze the header and freeze the header of a particular row, and then we can navigate through the scroll bar, so that we can get the context of the data that we are currently looking. We can either freeze the row heading, or either we can freeze the column heading, or along with the capabilities which are available in Cognos Insight, like swapping rows and columns, we can give the view of information that user want to see on their dashboards. As well as one more capability which is available for a cross tab is expand. So whenever you add a high level data into a cross tab, just with the right click on the workspace, you can actually expand that data right within the cross tab. You need not to have the separate type of report. Basically use the same report which is created in the cross tab mode, and you can expand that data as per your requirement. You can always expand and collapse that data and save your view whatever you want to save, so that whenever you open the that cross tab again on the same workspace, you can get the expanded mode or a collapsed view on the level that you want to see. So this is the one of the feature which is get added with the 10.2. As well as one more feature which got added was a visual recommender. So whenever we want to change a display type, so Cognos Workspace allow users to change the visualization that they want to see. So if a particular user want to analyze the data in a different visualization on a predefined dashboard, like if we have a line chart, and if a user want to see that data in a bar chart, so whenever we click on the recommendations, so Cognos will actually suggest what type of visualization are helpful for that user, given based on the data which is present in the particular series. So for example, in the screen, so though I have a line chart, so when I go to the recommendation, it basically says that column chart is a most preferable way to show the data, because it has only one measure in the data, as well as the data is cleaner in the chart without a text. So such kind of a text-based recommendation a user can get, so he need not to bother about which visualization should I choose for the given data set. And again, user has capability to click on a more and decide whatever type of visualization they want to choose. But it basically will list top 4 visualization that they can apply on based on the given data. So visual recommendation is one of the way where user can quickly change the visualization to more appealing visualization, as well as more useful visualization for the particular data set. And next capability that Cognos Workspace gives is a more detailed chart interaction. So earlier with Cognos Business Insight, we have interaction with the chart, but it was more on the complete chart as a single object. With Cognos Workspace, we can interact with chart, we can interact with the various components into a chart, we can filter based on a particular query subject. So on the screen you can see that I have example that I can filter a particular data in a particular chart. So from a legend, I can simply right click and filter a particular data for exclude a particular category, or include a particular category for visualization purpose. So user can quickly modify the existing chart for their personal analysis, and then they can use the modified view rather than modifying the underlying chart or underlying specifications for using into a visualization. They need not to go back to the Workspace Advanced for modifying the chart and then again come back to Workspace for doing simple operations like filter and sorting of the content. So user can filter the content in a chart, they can sort the content, as well as they can set the look and feel for a particular object in a chart based on the interactivity, as well as user always has the capability to expand the widget to Cognos Workspace Advanced, and where they can modify the particular widget if they want to add some extra features into it, or they want to make some additional changes which are not supported on the workspace. So they can always expand this widget to Workspace Advanced. So these kind of features which were added to particular chart widgets. So filter chart content, sort chart content is directly available on the workspace, as well as user can drill up and drill down based on the particular entity in a chart. So to quickly summarize all the user experience improvements, so for a particular dashboard here you can see that we have a tab workspace at the bottom, so where we can see multiple tabs added at the bottom. User can add new tabs, they can order these tabs. Then the next feature is global area, so which basically allows users to create a global content for all the tabs which are available. So user can add action buttons, they can add global filters for the different tabs. In the global filters, user can add a predefined value filter which is available with Cognos Workspace toolbox, as well as they can bring in the slider to dynamically filter the data based on the particular. So for example, here I have added a slider filter for range of years, so where all the tabs will get filtered based on that slider. Similarly, the action buttons can be added to the global area. Then on a particular chart, we have the recommendations for a particular visualization which can be more appealing to a particular user, or which is more relevant to a particular data set. And for a list, we have features like we can freeze the column heading, we can freeze the row heading, so that it will be easier to navigate the data when we have large list or large cross-tab added into the dashboard. As well as for cross-tab, we can expand and collapse the data as per the requirement, so that we can dynamically create multiple views based on a high-level view in a cross-tab, and then we can save that for the further analysis. So moving toward the administrative capability, administrative enhancement which get added with the Cognos Standard 2. In Cognos Standard 2, Cognos Workspace is empowered with graduated capabilities. So graduated capabilities enables users to restrict the access of particular capabilities to a range of users. So it basically divide Cognos Workspace users into three basic groups. First is consume, second is interact, and third is assemble. The default view which is available in Cognos Business Insight is similar to assemble view, where each user can change the look and feel of the content. Each user can change the dashboard layout, and then they can save back to the Cognos repository. But with Cognos Standard 2, you can restrict which user can modify the dashboard, which user can save the content, or which user can just use that dashboard for viewing purpose. So we can restrict user interface, features, and function based on the capabilities of a particular users. So this screen basically shows how the dashboard will look like for a consume user. So you can compare the view with previous product or the previous view which I shown on earlier slides. So where here user will not able to see any capabilities to change the content, but again he has all the capabilities for interacting with the data. He can collaborate using consume user capability, but he will not able to modify the content which is already available in the workspace. So just to take a detailed look what each user is capable of. So the first capability is consume. So in consume, user can review the information, they can see whatever content which is already available on the dashboard, they can use it for their personal analysis, they can add comments, so they can collaborate with each the users using the comments to include the comments. In this case of a consume user, for the users who are familiar with Cognos Workspace, for a user with the consume capability, they will not get the title bar, the widget level action buttons. Instead of that, all the features will be available in the context menu rather than using it from the widget bar. They can collaborate if they are using capabilities like Lotus connection for collaborating. If they have Lotus active, they are using Lotus activity for collaborating based on a Cognos Workspace, they can definitely use that. They can print the workspace. So as I say, on-demand toolbar for each widget as well as the workspace that will be hidden for the user, as well as the adding comment will be based on the context menu. So these are the capabilities will be restricted to consume users. Then we have group of users with the capability as interact. So users with capability of interact, they will get all the capability that a consume user has, as well as they have the capability to use the widget level action. So they can sort the content, they can change the display type, they can choose whatever chart type they want to see. This is for a more advanced users like business analysts who want to change the content, who want to see the data in a different format, or who want to add custom calculation based on the existing data to calculate new insight from the available data. And the third mode is assemble mode, which is similar to which is available with Cognos Business Insight, a previous version. So where user has all the capabilities for consume of the consume user as well as the interact user. User can create the content, user can modify whatever visualization or new insight they want to bring from the existing content, as well as they can save the data, as well as they can share the dashboard to multiple users. So these are the capabilities which are newly introduced with 10.2. Now the most important capability, the performance improvement for the dashboard, because for a dashboard, performance is a key capability. So for Cognos Workspace, the major focus on performance was dashboard launch, dashboard interactivity, dashboard creation, and a general performance criteria. So these are the more important themes for performance improvement for Cognos Workspace. So in case of a dashboard launch, so it ensures that initial view of a dashboard, it gets loaded faster rather than loading that report. So the basic idea is your dashboard should be more faster than your report with the equivalent data. So using the Cognos Workspace, it gets loaded faster than the report with the equivalent data in a HTML mode. So dashboard launch is a important improvement in a performance terms, as well as interactivity. So when we compare with the report, the interactivity has to be more faster, because typically the user who will be using a dashboard, maybe generally it's a high-level users like executives and all, or the user who want to get the insight quickly based on the data. So faster interaction is a key capability where user can interact with the data, not just with the predefined content, whereas when we add the custom filters or when we try to bring in more insight, that performance is more faster generally compared to a report. That was a major focus for the performance improvement. As well as while creating the dashboard, when we navigate through the content manager, so it's try to make sure that the performance of the content manager navigation is faster than the experience that we get in the portal. So navigating the not just with the portal, as well as when we expand the report for bringing in the content onto the workspace, Cognos Workspace works much more faster than the its earlier release, as well as the report or a Cognos portal navigation. As well as it's generally less sensitive to network latency now. So even if we have a network latency, your dashboard will give a consistent performance for the end user. So let's see in terms of numbers how Cognos Workspace performs. So these are the comparative numbers on multiple browsers compared to Cognos 10.1.1 Business Insight with 10.2 Cognos Workspace. So here you can see that there is a significant improvement in both the modes. So the first run mode, which gets in 10.2, which basically gets 28 seconds in lab testing, which was taking around 43 seconds for 10.1.1 for a first run, and then in a cached mode also it's almost a double improvement for the performance on Internet Explorer. Similar to the Firefox, it significantly improved, almost double the performance compared to the earlier release. As well as we added support for new browsers like Google Chrome. So on Google Chrome, it's significantly faster than any other browser. So basically where I was taking 28 seconds, so Google Chrome takes 21 seconds to load the data. So these numbers are from the lab testing, where it shows significant improvement over the first run and the cached version, where it basically stores all the layout and look and feel content into the user's browser, and then it just navigates the data. Talking about the real life on the client testing, we have some performance numbers. So if we compare with the Business Insight 10.1, so you can see that there is again a similar kind of a performance observed in on a client for on-site testing also. So where in i9, where it was taking 9 to 10 seconds, it basically takes 4.5 to 5 seconds for i9 for working with the workspace. So performance is significantly improved over the existing version. So it's not just with the interaction, it has been improved on all the 4 focus areas that I discussed earlier. So this version is much more faster than the earlier version. So moving ahead, I would like to just share one of the use cases that how you can leverage more based on the Cognos Workspace. So we have an example like we have a company where they have a dashboard on a particular which focus on the receivable. So they have a dashboard for day sales outstanding, credit aligned by credit aging by region, as well as doubtable account calculation. A normal dashboard, you can consider a dashboard in your organization where you basically shows the current status of organization, how it's working, what are the a day level dashboard. In this particular example, we have a current applications for extension to existing credit lines, as well as we have a process defined in the organization which revise the credit limit up or down for a particular organization, which is managed by a different application altogether. Now, a particular dashboard user get to know that a particular XYZ company has recently signed a new contract for service, so they are on the credit extension for new credit limit. So they need to revise the information which is available for a particular user. Now, we can use IBM Business Process Management monitoring integration along with the Cognos Workspace to take the context from your workspace to directly to your business process monitoring solution. So this is just an example. We can think of multiple scenarios where we can take the context from Cognos Workspace and pass it to the other application to pass on that data to that application and get more insight based on the particular data which is available, or we can take action based on the particular data. So this is a simple dashboard, for example, that we consider. On the right hand side, we have multiple charts which shows the status of the organization. On the left hand, information for a particular organization, information with the data, actual data which is available on the dashboard. So on the next slide, you can see that I can select the particular data from a list, and then I can simply right click onto the data and say that pass on that context to a business process. So you can see in the slide, so we have an option for business process as a context menu. So when I right click onto the particular data after selecting it, it will allow me to pass that context to a business process management solution. So to take the action based on the insight that we have, so here we have linked an other application with the Cognos Workspace. So we can select a particular process in a business process monitoring. We can filter that data based on user and context. So we already have the data which is filtered for a particular user, as well as the context, because we have the dashboard design in that sense. So we can select that value which are already fetched by the Cognos, and then it submit to the particular process in the backend. We can choose which process to select from a business process monitoring. Here we have multiple processes like order bugs, show values, start, end that process. So multiple processes, we can choose which process should we pass the content, for which process we should pass the content as well as the context, so that we can take the further action from the same screen. And when we pick up the context, it will get assigned to a particular process, and then user can work on the that application for the taking further action. So instead of going back and forth multiple options, multiple applications, user can combine multiple applications. They can link those applications with Cognos Workspace, and then they can pass on that context to that process. So another example that can be, which we have included here, can be the considering the interaction with the Lotus connection. So Lotus connection provides the social networking capabilities. It's again an IBM solution for the social capabilities for the organization, where users can create multiple activities. They can create to-dos, they can create multiple communities, they can host their files over there, they can create wikis, blogs. All social networking capabilities are available with the Lotus connection. So IBM Cognos Workspace can actually combine with Lotus connection from the right into the dashboard. You can actually create a new activity based on the data. For example, if my sales manager sees that sales in a particular region is going down by a particular percentage, they can actually create an activity like monitor the sales of a particular region, and then he can define who all are the stakeholders. So he can pull the users from the predefined user repository, and then they can assign those users to the for a particular activity. He can actually assign the roles for each user. He can assign the to-dos, as well as he can assign that particular activity to a community. So whenever from a right into the dashboard, user can take the action which are need to be taken for a particular challenge. He need not to go back to, for example, go back to his email client and then take a screenshot or take a particular report and then find out who all are the stakeholders. So all the capabilities will be pre-configured into Workspace. So he can just select which community he want to address to. He can pass on that context to that community. User will get a link to their dashboard, the context of the data that a particular manager is talking about, as well as they can get what are the action items which are assigned from a single dashboard. So a single dashboard, when we try to implement, it empowers users to take the action based on the context. So it's not just like a standalone application or standalone report where user will get into their inbox and then they need to find out how they can collaborate. A single workspace can allow users to collaborate with each other, as well as actual meaning of converting insight into action. They can take action, they can assign action, they can define their stakeholders, they can define the accountability for a particular data set. So this is the important capability when we try to implement Cognos Workspace. We need to consider these capabilities because that really empowers the users for solving the challenges they are basically seeing. So visualization, that's one part of it. We have advanced visualization capability, as well as bringing that visualization, converting those insight into action is the key feature that Cognos Workspace provides to the users. Moving to next, one of the significant improvement that Cognos Workspace includes is you can integrate your active reports into Cognos Workspace. So if you are aware about Cognos Active Reports are offline dashboard capability which is offered by Cognos, where you can create the interactivity based dashboards, and then you can consume those dashboard in your browser. You can consume those dashboard on your iPad based on the particular HTML based file, and then that file can be used for the data analysis, and then that can be shared as email. So with Cognos 10.2, you can actually integrate your active reports onto your dashboard. So all your historical data will basically come as a part of active report, which will get refreshed after a particular interval. So all historical data will come as a active report, as well as all your fluid data, which is what is happening currently, that will come as a live report on the workspace. And you can able to set the connection between your workspace data with the active report data. So you can actually make variables talk to each other so that you can pass the context from your widget to active report. So people who are aware about active report, they might be aware about the techniques like active report works on a variable. So you can actually pass a variable value to active report from your Cognos Workspace widget. So it basically gives fluid data as well as historical reporting on a single screen for the users. So different capabilities are available when we integrate active report with the Cognos Workspace. So Cognos Workspace basically supports Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari, whereas active report supports Internet Explorer and Firefox. So active report integration will be restricted to Internet Explorer and Firefox. So when we think of integrating active report, we need to consider that we need to have the Firefox and IE as a delivery mechanism for the users for integrating active report. For all other dashboards and requirements, we can always use Chrome and Safari for the analysis purpose. Then, as I mentioned, we can implement cross-report communication. We can pass the context from Workspace or from a particular report widget to Cognos Workspace, to active report. Only requirement is the parameter name that we pass from a workspace to active report. Parameter name should match so that active report will identify that this is the external parameter which is coming from the workspace to active report. As well as active report variables need to be public so that they can listen the events that are being happening with the workspace event. So you can actually communicate like drill down or drill up kind of activity with the, you can sync it with the workspace event. As well as it allows us to, we need to consider the stale persistence. So active report variable stales will be saved when workspace is saved. So whenever you want to save a particular view of a dashboard, so you can actually save the view of an active report also. So it's not like as active reports are the static content. So whenever we save the dashboard, it will get refreshed to the original content. You can actually save the state of that active report so that we can particularly when we drag that active report to a workspace, it will basically interact with that context and save the state along with the dashboard. So it basically allows users to create more interactive content not just from the reports which are already authored. They can put some data into active report, which gives better interactivity, and then they can combine it with the existing traditional Cognos reports. Then from the integration to the customization part. So when we deploy Cognos Workspace into the organization, so one of the key requirements that comes is the customization of that workspace for the look and feel of the organization standards. So you can actually skin the Cognos Workspace. User can customize the user interface by replacing the text and logos. So Cognos comes with the new skinning utility. So using that, you can easily customize the workspace layout and images and details that are available. You can change the colors of the menus. You can customize the getting started page, buttons and labels. So you can actually customize your workspace to more suitable to a particular organization theme, or you can create multiple themes for a particular group of users. Like you can customize it for a different department, or different kind of a dashboard for a different department. So basic trick behind doing this is we need a mapping table between default colors and target colors, where we will match the existing layout to a new layout. As well as it helps you to follow the same design principle to keep the UI clean. So one of the requirement of a dashboard is dashboard should be clean enough and contextual enough to get the data. So these colors are consistent with the corporate colors and also help the simplify the colors used for the scheme. So coloring will be significantly improved when we try to branding. So whatever colors are available for the branding purpose, you can actually relate it with the all other themes, and then you can always create your own theme for the dashboards. So branding is one of the interesting features which users can implement into their environment to completely customize the dashboard. So they can give the feel to the users that they are working on the same application that they are working. So you can customize the workspace with the same theme of a particular portal or a particular website of a particular organization. Then some of the performance recommendations. So when we try to implement Cognos Workspace, some of the performance optimization steps can be always rely on the upgrade to modern browsers, because Business Insight or Cognos Workspace are based on the RIA capability, which is Rich Internet Client application, so which will significantly improve with the modern browsers. So users should get upgraded to the latest browser like Internet Explorer 9 or 10 or Firefox 10 or latest version of Firefox or latest version of Google Chrome. That will definitely give the better experience compared to the old browsers. Browser compatibility is one of the key concern that is faced by the organization. So while upgrading the browsers, make sure that whenever you are deploying Cognos Workspace, make sure that organization will upgrade their browser so that their user will get more improved performance. As well as while configuring the gateway, if you want to get the better performance, always make sure that we configure the ISAP gateway rather than a CGI gateway. So if we have a large usage of Cognos Workspace, always make sure that you use ISAP gateway while using with the IIS compared to the CGI. Then some of the proven practices from the field. So I'm sure that people who are more into the designing and the report development and the workspace may be already aware or already implementing those features. For others, these are the few proven practices while we work with the dashboard, when we create the dashboard. The first thing is focus on customers. So you should always consider who is our customer and then design the dashboard in that sense. That will really help us to decide what should be the design, what should be the context, what should be the content that we want to add on a particular dashboard, as well as it allows users to focus on a particular area rather than empowering them with the bunch of information. Based on the users, we can design our dashboard to give the right information to a particular user. So identifying user is the first requirement for designing a better dashboard. Then second thing is using of saved output and views. So Cognos allows you to take a saved output of a view of a particular report. So when we interact with the dashboard, you can always use the saved output of a version, so that it will avoid the need of running the report every time user loads the dashboard. So if you have a reports like last month performance or a yearly performance for a last year, that kind of a report, we can always take a view which generally do not get updated frequently, and then we can use multiple versions from dashboard so that that performance really significantly improve, because that will avoid the interaction with the server. As well as the third thing is atomic level reports or a purpose-built part. So when we try to drag the content based on the existing report to workspace, it's always preferable to design the atomic level reports, so we can bring in the data from a particular report to the dashboard. That basically help us to maintain the dashboard application altogether. So whenever we have some changes, instead of making changes to a particular report, a complete large report, we can always change the small part of a report. As well as always, whenever you create a specific report specially for the dashboards, make sure that you remove the headers and footers, because when we try to drag the content to Cognos Workspace, it comes along with the header and footer. By default, it will come with the date and a page number marker, so that may confuse the end user for the while dragging to the workspace. So make sure that we remove header and footer. As well as most important thing is when we try to create a visualization, or when we try to bring in the list or a cross-tab kind of visualization into workspace, make sure that we name them into the report itself, so that a user will not get confused with the names like list 1 or list 2. Interactions like names, we should have the correct and contextual names, so whenever we expand the particular report, we can actually drag the exact context to the dashboard. User need not to go and search about which context should be passed. So I'm sure that people who are working with Cognos Workspace are already seen some of these challenges when we have a single report with multiple report objects, and when we have names like combination chart 1, combination chart 2, or a gauge 1, bullet 1. So it's typically create confusion while which chart actually should I choose for a particular dashboard. So proper naming and naming of the charts or a list is one of the important features that a user need to consider while designing the dashboards. So these are the some of the recommendations from the for the designing the dashboard, designing the deployment. So if you have any queries, or if you want to know a particular implementation suggestion, you can ask right away, or you can always write back me to for getting the information about that. So here are some of the references for especially for the designing and deciding the context of a dashboard. So you can always refer Stephen Few's Perpetual Edge. This is an excellent site for tips and tricks for designing various type of dashboards. You can actually use these principles while you design the dashboard. As well as the HighChart is one of the interesting site where you can get the details, as well as the edwardtafel.com. So these sites you can use for the getting more insight about the how do we design the dashboard, what should be the designing principles, a generic dashboard designing principles, as well as you can always go back to the IBM Cognos proven practices for more practices for doing particular, how to implement a particular capability using Cognos dashboards, what are the features which are available in the Cognos Workspace. So that's all for the Cognos Workspace. So thanks for joining. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them into the text box so that I can take the questions and answer them.
Thanks for the insightful presentation. Let's quickly take up the questions now. Please read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to the commendable insights.
So the first question that I have from Neeraj, so can we print complete workspace dashboard, or it has to be printed visual-wise? So Cognos Workspace gives two capability. You can completely print the dashboard. A complete dashboard can be printed, as well as you can export each and every widget as a PDF. So if you want to, if you don't want to print a complete dashboard, you can always export that particular widget based on your visualization. So it's not just the same widget which is coming from the report. You can customize that widget. You can convert it to a new visualization, and then you can export it with in the PDF. So either you can choose to print a complete dashboard, or you can choose widget wise. So both the capabilities are available with Cognos Workspace. So the next question that I have is, can we zoom in and zoom out charts in a dashboard? So zoom in and zoom out is available with the similar to the do more capability. So on a particular widget, you can just expand that widget so that whenever we click, that widget get expanded to a full screen view. So you can get the closer look into it. It's a inbuilt capability with the workspace. You need not to do extra for adding zooming in and zooming out for a particular widget. Then the next question is, what is the minimum RAM required and number of servers to run run our schedule report? So this is quite generic question. So minimum software requirements you can find it from the IBM.com software requirements for IBM Cognos 10.2. But it's also driven by the number of users. It's also driven by number of data points that you have. So based on that, we need to identify what will be the final architecture. For Cognos Workspace, it's just a for an end user, it's just a Cognos browser that is required for running a particular report. So for RAM and other system requirement, you can always go back to Cognos. So basically, those requirements will be required for Cognos, not for Cognos Workspace. So the expand. So next question is from Neha is explain the expand feature. So expand feature is basically like whenever we have a cross tab, we can right click onto that cross tab, and when we have a particularly we have a DMR structure, we can right click onto the cross tab cell and then expand it to the lower layer. This is quite different than the drill down. So in drill down, we take the context and go one level below. Here it will keep the context as it is, and it will expand that particular option to the next one. It's like a in a HTML page, we have a plus symbol, and when we click at that, expands the list, and then when we again click on that symbol, it collapses the screen. So it's similar to like that. So next question is, DT is possible in BI. So I am actually not sure what DT is. So maybe Sumit, you can explain what DT is so that I can answer the question. Then the next question is, can we apply bursting on a workspace dashboard? So report bursting from a dashboard, even I need to check. I'm not sure, because Cognos connection was capable of doing the we were able to burst the context to the dashboard. I need to check whether we can burst the report into the dashboard. I can surely get back to you on that question. Then the next question is, can a cube be explored in a Business Insight? Yes, Business Insight has a one more product along with it called as a Business Insight Advanced, where you can use it as a similar to the Analyst Studio or a Power Play viewer, where you can actually connect to the cube and then you can expand that. All the capabilities that are generally available for cube navigation in Analyst Studio or a Power Play client, those are available in Business Workspace. Okay, drill through is DT. So drill through is available with the Cognos Workspace. So you can drill down, drill up, and drill through is very much available in the Cognos Workspace. If it is configured on the underlying report, you can always drill through from a Cognos Workspace. So report busting is same as 8.4 or 10, or is there a difference? So overall for a Cognos, report busting is for Cognos report busting is similar what it was for 8.4 or 10.1. But as I mentioned, for a workspace-based bursting, so in 8.4 and 10.1 or even in 10.2, we have capability to burst that report onto the Cognos portal, like Cognos connection-based pages. I need to confirm whether we can do it on the Cognos Workspace dashboards. can connect to the various data sources. So Cognos Workspace, as I mentioned, is a dashboard tool. It does not have any authoring capability, but yes, using the Cognos Workspace Advanced, which is a additional studio, we can always connect to the external data sources. Internally, Cognos has capability to connect to all possible data sources. So using Cognos, you can connect to any data sources like all your relational databases, all your cubes, all your flat files, or your SAP or any other legacy data sources you can connect to Cognos. You can design the report based on that, and then those reports will be added to your workspace. Now, if you have a data, a small set of data like your CSV or a Excel file, your end user can actually bring that data into your workspace, and they can create the dashboard. Here, you do not to go back to your report designer or your system administrator to bring that data into the system. For relational database and other data sources, you need to rely on your database team and the report designer to bring that data into workspace. So that data, so external data can be directly brought into workspace using Workspace Advanced, and the traditional data sources can always bring using the Cognos reports. So the next question is, can a single dashboard report contain data from multiple databases? So that will depend on the underlying data source. But yes, we can bring in the reports on a single dashboard which are authored on a multiple data sources. So that's the one of the important capabilities that a dashboard gives. It's not bound to a particular data source. It's not bound to a particular package, or it's not bound to a particular source. So you can bring in the content from various packages. You can which can be authored on a multiple databases. So we can have one report based on Oracle, one report based on a SQL, or one report can coming from the SAP, or we can in runtime we can add one more report based on the Excel sheet. So all type of reports can be combined on a single dashboard. We need not to have multiple reports for that. For multiple packages, we need not to bother about multiple packages or multiple data sources for creating a dashboard. We can say, we have next question, we can say BI will replace Report Studio. So that question is depend on the user requirement. So if user have requirement like if they want to create a basic report like they have, they were using like Query Studio or Analyst Studio for a quick analysis, they can always use Business Insight. But for advanced capabilities like report busting or developing active reports or developing the when we have a complex query structures or when we have the bursting like a capability, user need to rely on the Report Studio, or when we want to create a pixel perfect report, user need to use Report Studio. But for the requirement where user want to simply create a list or a cost tab or a chart, he can always use Business Workspace Advanced for those purposes. So it's not actually a replacement for Report Studio, but yes, most of the capabilities are available in the Workspace Advanced for the end user. And it's pretty simple because it works with the live data. You can either work with the live data or we can work with the metadata view like Report Studio, so that it actually gives the contextual offering to the user. So your end user can also create a report based on your metadata. He need not to be aware about the Report Studio for simple reporting purposes. Any other questions? Can we also create active report on Cognos Workspace? No, Cognos Workspace will only consume the reports which are created in the Report Studio. So for creating active report, we need to use Report Studio. So once the active report is created in Report Studio, we can use it in Cognos Workspace. So Cognos Workspace or Cognos Workspace Advanced does not allow us to create active report. That has to be created in Report Studio. Cognos Workspace could be used as an event studio when an event could be generated based on the some condition. Now we don't have the capability exactly like Event Studio, because Event Studio has capability like we can actually monitor a particular condition and then we can schedule, look up for that condition and then take the further action. So those kind of capabilities are not available with Workspace. what we can do with the workspaces, we can, whenever we have the information, we can associate it with the other applications, like I have shown it for the business process monitoring. We can take the action based on that event, but automatic event alerting and taking the initiating a process, that kind of capabilities are not available in the workspace. Those are not inbuilt. Those does not come as inbuilt capability. So scheduling of reports is not. So the question is scheduling of report is possible here? So scheduling is not possible in Cognos Workspace. So scheduling is handled by Cognos administration. So we can schedule those reports. Cognos Workspace will be used for just for consumption of that report. The next question is how much data can be held up. So Cognos Workspace always works on a connected mode. So for disconnected mode, the data holding capability comes into picture. But for Cognos Workspace, as it always works in a live mode, so whatever data that you want to bring it to the dashboard, based on your infrastructure and based on your designing principles, you can bring in whatever data that you want to bring to the dashboard. So there is no such a restriction where a particular dashboard can be restricted to a particular data size. That will purely depend on your underlying hardware infrastructure. Then the next question is slider is not convenient for the large nets. Yes, that depends on how we are designing the report. So typically when we have a requirement like a slider, we can always split that requirement into multiple widgets, or we can try to make a high level overview where we can use the slider. Whenever we want to add a slider like a large list or a multiple values comparison, we can always use the value filter instead of a slider. Slider is generally used for the small set of range where we want to basically compare two different data sets, or we want to view one data set at a time. For a large data set, it's generally preferable to use value prompt rather than slider. Any other questions? The next question is, do we have to install other components along with Cognos Workspace? So that will depend on your installation. Cognos Workspace comes as a default choice with the Cognos BI. So along with your Report Studio or Query Studio, you can restrict the access based on the user capability, but it's not essential that we need any other component. So it basically works on the predefined reports. So you should have the reports available to work with the Cognos Workspace. The next question is, can you share the license details? So license detail will vary user to user. So maybe you can get back to me if you want to know more about the licensing details. So that will depend on the user requirements and other details. So it basically has the same licensing structure like other studios in Cognos. So if you are interested to know the details, so please connect me. I can provide you the exact licensing details. The next question is, can we change the theme of workspace in a way we can change in IBM Cognos Insight? No, the simple answer is no. So because theme in Cognos Workspace is governed by Cognos administration. So Cognos administration or user preferences, you can define the theme, for Cognos Workspace, but it's not really as convenient as we do it in Cognos Insight. So Cognos Insight is a desktop-based application, so where it allows us to change the theme. It allows each and every user to change the theme. But in terms of Cognos, we need to have some permissions to change the theme. So user can change the theme if it is available, or you know to enable that in a Cognos administration. But it's not as convenient as Cognos Insight. So thanks everyone for attending the session. So this session was basically a preview session for IMTC India 2013, which is held in Leela Palace, Bangalore from 8th May to 10th May. So if you are interested in attending this session again, or more sessions on Cognos, or complete IBM information management portfolio, you can join us at Leela Palace, Bangalore from 8th May to 10th May. If you want to know more detail, you can always search for IMTC India 2013 for getting the agenda and other details for the conference. So if you have any further question, you can always write back to me to ganeshkedari@live.com. You can get my email URL from my TechGeek profile. I have all the details added over there.
I'm really thankful to our guest speaker for conducting this webinar. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thanks.